time.
I need a working one.
There it goes, see?
Yeah.
They do have that.
Patience.
They just
Have
bring them out
faith.
again.
Yeah, no,
You can
it was
also say a hex on it, like
86,
Uba
I think
Juba.
it was. Yeah.
Usually works for mine. It is a good one.
Oh, Dylan's gonna be coming with us to John 5. My son,
Okay, did you get tickets?
Yeah.
Sweet.
What are you guys going to see?
John 5,
Oh, what do you,
John 5. You don't know who John 5 is?
Wait,
Wait, is
Forget
that
it.
your son's name?
group?
No,
Oh,
No.
his is Silver Algol,
Wow.
No. John 5 was a guitarist for
Marilyn
Marilyn
Manson.
Manson.
no,
All
wait.
right, boy.
We are live, we are ready.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So you bring the meeting to order, sir.
We're early though, we don't.
Ah,
7 o'clock,
it's
sir.
7
Oh, I'm
o'clock.
looking
That
at
clock
that
is
thing, I'm
moving.
sorry. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maybe the last time you guys get up for a minute till we leave.
I'm sorry, I just beat. Roll call?
Hutchins,
Here.
Martin,
Here.
Coster,
Here.
Beanie,
Here.
McBride,
Here.
Krugel,
Here.
Miskovich.
Here. Consent agenda? Agenda? What do you want me to do for that?
You read the thing that says all items listed under consent agenda.
Oh, okay. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Holly Township Park Commission and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion. If discussion is required, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately immediately after consent agenda in its normal sequence on the regular agenda. Bills for payment?
No, so, I'm sorry, we have to go back. So agenda, you have to approve your current agenda.
Oh, I'm
You shouldn't add
sorry.
anything. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah, I'll
me too.
approve.
We're both as tired.
Does somebody have to do motion?
No, just all approved.
All approve?
Wait, no, you do need a motion.
Is it a motion? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Krugel, Hutchins.
Roll call?
No, that you just say all, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then same thing for your consent agenda. Oh, you just did that, sorry. Yeah. Now your bills are paid.
We're both too tired to be doing this right now.
You got it.
So what do we do for bills for payment now?
Someone needs to make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Donna.
I'll second it.
Hutchins and McBride.
And we need to do a roll call for
Yep.
that?
Martin,
Yes.
Coster,
Yes.
Beanie,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Krugel,
Yes.
Miskovich,
Yes.
Hutchins.
Yes.
Financial statement? Anything we need to do for
You
that?
need a motion to accept the financial statement, then it's just an all in favor.
Any motions? Any questions?
Guess I should have looked earlier.
I didn't get a chance. It's just been a crazy week for me.
Yeah, you and me both. I make a motion to approve the financial statement.
Seconds?
I'll second it.
She waited for you, Martin, and you didn't do it.
Look at,
Roll call?
You want a roll call? It's usually just an all in favor.
Okay, all in favor?
That's spend your name.
Aye.
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 Opposed.
Also, Chair, you also have to state anybody against.
Yeah, opposed.
Yeah.
And then
Opposed?
opposed, and then you say motion passed.
Okay,
That way they can see that everybody, they don't know, they can't tell, all that.
Okay.
By all the ayes.
yep,
Yep, so then you go, anybody opposed? No.
Okay.
Motion passed.
okay.
That way it,
It shows up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So any opposed? No. Motion passed.
There you go.
Public comment?
where's John?
Yeah,
I
I
think you
just,
could skip reading it since there is.
I know,
no
that's what I was
reader.
gonna do. I'm not gonna read it since there's
Sure.
nobody here, so we're gonna move on to old business. Sled race reports, I'm guessing that's coming from Tony?
Yeah, just, we had 20 participants. Everyone seemed to have a blast. Thank you to all the park commissioners who helped out. This is a low-cost, great event. Community loves it.
Yeah, I didn't see, I
So-
saw that everybody really enjoyed
So
it.
sad not to be there.
But yeah, it was fun, except for me falling on the ice, but you know.
She took it for us all.
I took it for everyone.
I missed that.
Oh, it was,
Oh,
I don't know
geez, right at the
how.
beginning, she
Isn't it a
was-
yearly
Really?
occurrence though?
It was pretty
We
ugly.
did that last year too.
Some guy jumped out of his truck and came running. I'm like, don't run.
Yeah, you'll slide and land on
I
top.
want you landing
Fall
on top
on
of me. So, anyways,
Okay, we'll go to B, grant application report.
have heard nothing yet,
That's what
so.
I figured, okay. We're not expecting to hear anything until February, or March, right?
Yeah, the end of March, I think,
Yep.
or April.
Okay, so we won't know about it until the April meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Sign. This is from Kathleen.
Well, Kathleen put it on at the last one, so
Right.
you and I talked about
Yes.
it, and we came up with, we need to know, like, you know, what type of sign, someone's gonna need to look into the village ordinances, what would our initial outlay be, what would the cost of operation, and how are we gonna pay for this?
Right.
Is there electricity out there towards the front of the park?
Nope.
No.
So it'd have to be a solar sign if we wanted something to light up.
Well,
No.
it'd either have to be a solar sign, or you'd have to run power down the post there.
So we'd have
There's
to
power out at the road.
Okay.
They'll drop a meter, and we have to tag off the meter.
Okay.
So,
Or run solar.
right. So is this anything that anybody wants to take on as a action to work?
I will check with the code compliance officer to find out what the sign ordinance is in the village.
Okay.
And I'll make some calls to get a general estimate, multiple varieties of signs, and after, Joe, when you find out what the ordinance is, so that way we can get sizing, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
obviously that's going to be
yeah.
an issue when it comes to price.
Yep.
Once I hear from you, I'll start looking into signage.
Now, one thing is, I'm on ZBA for the village. Holly Foods is erecting a new sign,
Yeah.
Saw that.
and that's a pretty good sign company. That's one place you can check for prices.
Okay.
What's the name?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I'll go talk to the owners.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint too if you need it.
Okay.
Well, so the one question would be, I suspect that none of the current signs that are village signs are within compliance for their own thing, so.
Let me explain a little bit about that. When everybody left downtown and went to Midtown and up to North End, everything got changed around, and there was variances allowed, and they changed their sign ordinances. They've changed them again, no moving stuff, because nobody likes a few of the signs on North Holly Road, because they're too bright, and there's too much motion, it takes you away from
The
traffic.
one out here moves.
Yeah, well, we're talking about a few of the signs that
The
are,
liquor store.
yeah, I can see that when you come out of the curve on the north
Yeah.
end of town, you go, wow. So anyhow,
But I don't think we're gonna put that up, so it's not.
yeah, it's evolved. Holly Foods, they had to get a variance to put up that sign.
Right.
But if you look at Villagers on the other side of
Yeah.
Grand Talk Road, same sign. So at least everything, we're trying to keep things kind of like, we don't want to look like Miller Road in the village.
Right.
Because it's so distracting. Even when you go over to Fenton on Silver Lake Road, Silver Parkway.
Yeah.
I got to stop or go in and see where everything else, because you can't read all the signs at the road.
Right.
You know, it's too distracting with all the stupid traffic over there. So that's what they're trying to do, and I'll talk to the code compliance officer and get size, setbacks, all that.
All right, perfect.
But as far as moving goes, does that include like a flag? Because we did discuss that, you know, just adding a couple flags to the front announcing the disc golf course.
Well, I think the main thing is they don't want arrows, because it's distracting. Everybody go, oh, I got to turn here.
No.
Okay, but so a standing flag, you've seen them, you know, they
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of curve up.
But that would
and
just
then
be
they
So the
come
whole-
waves.
Oh,
Right.
now I know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the village, they call those flag signs. CVS had some up a couple years ago, and it was against the sign ordinance, and they made them take them down.
So just to make it clear, the whole entrance of the park is within the village?
Yes, all the way up
I
to
was
the
gonna
top of the
say so.
hill.
The
Okay.
entire park is in the village until you go to the Shiawassee River.
Into
Okay.
Rose Township.
Yeah. Well, you're getting pretty close to the edge there. That's why I was just wondering, because I didn't want to find that, okay, we go here, then we find out if we move it 2 feet over here, we're under the township
Well,
rules, you know.
Curtin's
Okay.
property, Curtin, that's our neighbor,
Right,
back up in there at the top of the hill. He's the last one in the village.
Okay.
On this side of the road.
right.
Everybody on the other side of the road, all the way down to East Road, is Township.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's what I
One
was.
of these, yeah.
Right, okay.
So I'll check with him and I'll get sizes and setbacks and everything else, so you'll know what you want to look at and get bids on.
Okay.
Apples to apples. No
Sounds good.
problem.
Kurt, did you have a chance to talk to George about getting a road sign put out there that says park so many feet ahead?
Yeah, I've talked to George, but yeah,
Okay.
try to get anything without getting a story. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Inventory. Tony handed out the inventory that,
I had my staff do at the beach.
At the beach, yeah.
You know, my question, and I'm actually having the two seniors that are now working for me, working on it, which is somewhat of a nightmare for me because they got off on numbers and one can't read the other's handwriting and it's just kind of crazy. And you'll see on there that the senior that typed this up, just kind of, where she didn't know what the word was, she just put dots. She didn't ask me, but then she threw it away, so it's not like I can go in. But the question becomes, how detailed do you want this inventory? I mean, like,
Well,
Lysol,
yeah.
we have 3 cans of Lysol. Well, we're not going to have 3 cans of Lysol the next
Yeah.
time we go. So
Right.
how detailed do you really want
Well,
this inventory?
and like we discussed, what
What's
is
the
the
purpose?
end goal of this? What are we going to do with this? I mean, is
Well, I
this,
think the original thought for an inventory was not just to get a accounting of everything, but also to give the board a idea of what we have. I think that was the thinking when we originally did this, was
But
to, have a better understanding, such as we go for equipment and other items that, why do we have this? What's this for? And have a better grasp of
so we're
our
talking
resources.
big ticket items,
Big
not,
ticket, right.
not like,
No, not too worried about the
Not
Lysol, no.
vehicles,
okay, so then when we get these big ticket items, let's say like a lawnmower, are we looking at any other information that's needed to determine the useful life or anything else like that?
Well, that's, that's where we were kind of in the area of, at the time, I think some of the board members just wanted to have, okay, so we have equipment, do we need the equipment? Be something that, we could look forward to and say, can we find some other way of doing this without the equipment? Or is this equipment worth fixing? That's the type of thing, we're looking at. Right now, I have no idea how many quads or anything that we have, or, I think when I was thinking of the inventory, I wasn't thinking so much, like on this one. This is more for, internal, like, I'm gonna need Lysol next year,
Well,
whatever.
except for, and I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that's
we're,
even-
I think the
That was
idea,
actually done in August.
yeah,
and
right.
So I have no idea at the
Yeah,
end
like I
of the
said,
summer what was really
my-
actually even there anymore.
My understanding was we were looking for more of the big ticket
big
items,
stuff,
so we
yeah.
could tell what, what
So-
we needed to work on.
So define big ticket item
Right,
for
so
me.
what's
So
the
I'm just trying to
criteria
figure
for
that out.
Plus any
Tony
other
or
sports
whoever to
equipment.
determine what they're supposed to be inventory?
Well, like how many lawnmowers do we have? Okay, what shape are the lawnmowers in? Do we have quads? I keep
We have
hearing
2
that.
quads.
Okay, see, now that's
We have an
something-
old quad that we're waiting for it to die, and we have its replacement already sitting there, because
Well,
it was the last time you could get a cooled,
water
water-cooled,
stick
Well,
shift bike.
that's kind of the idea. I think
Right.
the original
Yeah.
idea of the inventory was, okay, we're looking at this, somewhere down the line, like you said, you have the replacement, that way you could point out, here's a replacement. That's not something we'd have to think about as a board,
The one thing I'm going to suggest is it might be a good idea if we come up with what criteria, rather than just, just getting the inventory. Like, what other information do we want? So if we're saying we want big ticket items, she comes with the quads, well, what, like you were saying, when are we going to replace it? Are we going to replace it? What's the useful life? How many more years does it have? What are we expecting Tony to give to us? You
well,
know?
yeah, and it wasn't me that was gonna do it, so
Yeah.
that was the other thing.
Well,
Right, and
sure,
are we
you're
gonna
gonna
have
be
Tony
with
do
us
it, or are
though,
we
right?
gonna do it? So,
Well, originally, we had said us,
Yeah.
we 3 women were gonna do it.
Yeah.
okay,
So.
But I don't think you had criteria on what we're all inventory.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think you guys
our
either.
intention was just to kind of go through and see,
Yep.
just, we didn't know what we had.
Right.
So just
Especially like in the
to,
barn.
Well, so you wanna know that you have 12 shovels? I mean, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know what.
That's what I'm asking the board. Is that what you wanna know, is how
Right,
many
and that's why I'm
shovels you
saying,
have?
like
what
equipment
makes
and-
sense for us to actually get the information for? I mean, just getting information for,
Or would you just be better with a workshop and have a walkthrough? Say, here's what I have. You got any
Yeah.
questions, anything strike a question for you.
I mean, a
that
perfect
might be
ex-
just-
I think that's what
That might be
it
the
is, the
simplest way
walkthrough.
to do it, is just to say, hey,
That's
look, public's welcome to come along. Tony's gonna explain, like you said. Guys, this is what I got in this shed, this is what I had. That might be
A
the
perfect
easiest way of
example would
doing
be
it.
the football equipment. It was sitting there for how long, getting close to expiration date. You were able to make a few bucks off of it, and we were able to clear a shed and move on from that. If we got 12 shovels, what do we need 12 shovels for? Could we do the same amount of work with 4 shovels?
Right.
And I'm not saying we could turn around and sell those shovels for $1,000, but you know what I'm saying. If we're
I don't know that we have 12 shovels.
I was just using it as an
Right, but I'm
example.
saying,
But okay, so let's say, okay, Pat said lawnmowers. Let's say, and I'm just throwing this out as an example. We have 8 lawnmowers.
We have 1.
Okay, I'm just throwing out an example. Okay, and we have 4 that are getting ready to die. We have 2 that are midlife and 2 that are ready to replace the ones that are ready to rock and roll. So why are we sitting on the 4 that's getting ready to die? Why wouldn't we try to move them? There's in business there's shrink and then there's residual shrink. You buy something and if it sits there, it's going to deteriorate and lose its value over time. I guess that's what some of this is about. So
I get that, so that's why I'm asking what
But, it's kind of hard to make a criteria because it keeps coming up over and over again. We don't know. And that, it's hard to picture if I don't know. I'm thinking a walkthrough would give us the
No, I think that's a
opportunity
good
to see,
idea.
and
Right, I
say,
think
hey,
that's a
look,
good idea.
and that's the other thing too, facility wise, I see the buildings and I'll be honest with you, I see them. I know, the football type. That was the first time I'd ever seen any of the sheds, to be honest with you. So I had no idea, somewhere down the line that might spark an idea for somebody, a project. Well, we have facilities that we might be able to use if, need be, something along that line. So,
as far as that goes, we got 4 decks of cards on here, and I'm wondering why I was never invited to the poker game.
I wasn't invited either.
does anybody else have an opinion or comment?
The real question would be, why does the beach staff have 4 decks of cards?
Yeah.
I've been here for a real long time.
No,
And-
not you.
Yeah, on parks. But like 12 shovels. Well, when Wham shows up,
You need them.
it's 13 people.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is, if somebody's got a garage sale and I say, hey, if you want to donate any shovels and rakes, because nobody buys them, nobody knows how to use them, I get that stuff and we throw it in a barrel, throw it in a corner, axes, anything, tools of destruction, because I'm cheap. If they're going to break a shovel, I'd rather have them break a used shovel free.
Yeah.
And with our quads and our trucks, back when the times were great, we bought stuff for replacements. With the yellow 93 Chevy truck still runs, and when it goes and it says kaboom, and we can't get parts for it no more, that's what the Dodge is for.
Well,
And-
except for I drive the Dodge too. So.
yeah, and also with the quad, the newer quad's got less mileage on it.
Right.
It's our replacement.
Yep.
But I think the point that Pat's trying to make is know that, and
we don't.
Tony knows that, but we
Well, no, I
don't
can.
know that.
I
so.
I can go through and give you a broad idea of what we have.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
I think what Pat brought up is a good start, just so we get an idea of what we're all looking at. Right now, we don't have an idea. And then maybe once we have an idea of what we're all looking at, then we can maybe put together criteria of what we need to do with the inventory on.
Yeah. And in storage, I save motors
Yeah.
because we get trash mowers, which our trash mowers are ones that we don't want to take our $9,000 zero turn down the trail.
Right.
So we get trash mowers. Throw an engine in it. If it runs for this summer, we scrap it. Go to another, you'll find one building down there, it's got about 3 or 4 motors in there. It's all usable motors. And as soon as you can't get parts for them no more, I scrap them.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
That's
So-
what we do is,
I did have, I mean, it's kind of off a little bit, but had the disc golf people ever asked for any kind of storage space on site?
They don't need it.
Oh, no, okay. I was just curious
Yeah,
about that,
no,
if they did
yeah,
or
they don't,
not. Okay.
once everything's,
Okay,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
all right. I was wondering because, I heard about their operations up at the old golf course up in Flint, and I was just curious if they had any kind of permanent.
yeah, no, they do the
store.
maintenance
Yeah,
and stuff,
okay.
yeah.
I think a good place to start is, Tony knows every nook and cranny everywhere in this place. And she can give a general written idea of what we got. You know, we got 12 shovels, stuff like that. Shovels are $10 a piece or whatever else
Tony,
we
do you
got.
want to do that?
Not really.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But,
Because I know I wouldn't want to do it.
but
I
we-
think if you look, you'll find out how many shovels are at the beach, because they record
Yeah.
it.
Like I said, I think maybe just doing a general walk around, just so we get an
You know?
eye feel for what's all there,
Yeah.
might be the best way to start, and then go
Because
from
we got a
there.
couple mowers laying around, a big one, big zero turn.
Yeah, that, I gotta.
We've been
try
trying to sell that, try to sell it. The motor's worth something. I hate to send it to scrap, but after you can't, nobody wants the motor,
Yeah.
get it out of here.
Right,
It's taking up space. Space is money.
right.
Yep.
Can
So,
we get
I
a
mean,
motion or anything like that on what we want to do for going forward on the inventory? Do we want to do a walkthrough, or,
Well, I think the walkthrough would be a workshop.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you don't want to be sitting there trying to do it during with the meeting and having people.
Right,
go
and everybody
through.
can go through and say, okay,
Yeah.
the old Keys mower, I make a motion, we scrap that mower.
Right,
or
right,
let's
right,
sell
yeah.
this or that.
This is
Can't
just
make a
getting
motion.
ideas.
No,
and, you
that's
know,
what I'm talking about.
understanding.
At a meeting, we'll go through a
Right.
walkthrough as a workshop.
Yep.
That way everybody, you can ask questions, we just can't make no decision.
yeah, that's
No,
fine.
that-
I think that's the best
Yeah.
way to start.
And that's the upfront and transparent way. We all walk through,
Right.
post it.
That
Yep.
post
So if
it,
anybody else wants to
it's like-
walk through, they can, ask
join
questions.
Right along with us, right?
Can I suggest that you do your walkthrough on April 9th, because you're already gonna be there for the AdCon?
I was just gonna ask you, what would be a good deal? That would be a good
Yeah,
time
that's
to
fine
do
with
it,
me.
you know?
Get
You're
a
already
two-fer.
gonna be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do a
that's-
twofer.
That sounds good.
Can I get
Which
a
April
motion?
9th?
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't snow. No.
Which
It is,
April
it is
9th?
Michigan, you know?
It is later than normal for AdCon.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I'll make a motion that we do the workshop, inventory workshop on April 9th after the Easter egg hunt,
Or before.
or before,
After,
after?
yeah, just in case. That's the
case
most
of what?
important
Yeah,
thing
you
of the
might
day.
not want people who might show up early all of a sudden tagging along thinking it's part of the Easter egg hunt. That could be, you know.
I could hide them eggs in there.
Yeah,
Underneath the lawnmower?
right.
What was it, April 9th?
Yep.
April 9th. Did you need support on that? I'll support
Need a
that.
second, yeah.
Tony, that Easter egg hunt at 11 o'clock?
We're gonna talk about that later.
Okay,
Yes and no?
okay.
Can I get a roll call?
You don't need one.
No,
Oh, I
Not
don't.
spending money.
that's
Okay.
fine.
You
Yeah.
only need it if you're spending money.
So how I get to prove the motion?
You say, all in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
I mean,
None?
not
None,
Passes.
pass.
Motion carried.
Motion carried.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I'll pick this up. Today's just gonna be a really crappy day. So we covered inventory. We're gonna go to disc golf hall sponsorships. This is an actionable item. We need to start looking, trying to get sponsorships for the holes. I think we need to figure out how are we gonna do this, or what.
Well, so I need to come up with some kind of contract, which I was kind of hoping to find at the thing and I didn't, so.
Okay.
By the next meeting, I'll do that, but I think that you need to come up with who on the board wants to go sell and where you would try selling, because we don't want Pat going to the same place that Joe goes.
Right, right.
You know,
They might say yes to Joe and no to Pat. so-
that's true,
So,
Yeah, I would say that'd probably be the case.
especially if there's that Michigan stuff crap in there.
I mean, instead of, I know how much Joe likes committees, but when, instead of sitting there trying to figure out who's going to go what and where, wouldn't it be easier to come up with a 3-person committee to divvy up spaces between the three of them and
Could do
be
that
able
if-
to.
If you didn't want anyone else, and then I guess if anyone else had somewhere specific they thought they could get one sold to, they could come to your committee and tell you.
Right.
Yeah, that might be the best way to do it.
Have we determined what we're gonna put
We
our?
said $500
We said
for a
500?
5-year contract.
500? I just wanna make sure we're all,
Are we gonna do any just strictly a 5-year one? Is that what?
I think that's what we were
So
hoping
you're
to do,
gonna stick with that? Okay.
otherwise it becomes really confusing.
and we're not
Right.
gonna negotiate. It's $500, 5
Yeah.
years.
Right.
I just wanna make sure we're all clear on that.
Now, is
No
that gonna be
half times,
like
no half
500
Okay.
This is what we got.
Yep. Yeah,
with the
no-
contract, or is that gonna be like
That's right, revolving
$100
sign and
a
everything.
No,
year?
it's not
No.
$100 a year
It's
because we
500.
need the money to,
It's
in
up
order
front.
to
Up
finish
front.
the.
COD.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps we could say 300 the first year, 200 the second year.
I wouldn't
But-
get into that.
I think we
No,
ought to try and sell the
accounting
500
wise,
right
that would
off,
be
and if
kinda
that
hard.
don't
Yeah,
work,
that-
we can always fall back a little bit, you know?
Yeah, we can see with first pass of it, we're
Yeah,
finding.
if
out
somebody
we're
says
not getting-
5 years, holy mackerel.
In order to sell this, a lot of times people buy with their eyes, and it's visual. Do we have any confirmation on what type of signs we're getting for these holes or
I
banners?
showed you a picture of them.
I think he's talking more concrete than just this.
You actually want a sign made up?
Or that, or a picture of something, with your name here, something that you could actually take to these potential sponsors, because they're going to want to know what they're. I mean, $500 isn't chump change,
Right.
And they're going to want to know what they're buying into.
Right,
So.
right.
Would
Well, so
artist rendition be good enough?
We had it. We had that. We had an
You know,
artist
would you wa-
rendition, and
Yeah.
we had your name here
Okay.
on it. So we just need to get copies made,
Yep.
and then we also discussed not only were they going to have their name on their whole, but we would at the beginning of it do a big one where everybody's logo was, thank you for the following sponsors, so
Yep.
that you got your name twice.
Yeah.
Okay, question, just for my own benefit here, is there any limits on who we'd ask to be a sponsor?
You're going to ask the pot dispensers? Sure. Is that your question?
That would be one of them, but I'm also thinking too, liquor store. Would
I don't
that
see
be
a
any,
reason why not.
anybody on that? I mean,
Do you really wanna?
yeah,
Well, there's
that,
no
this saying,
Right, there's no-
when
Well,
you-
the biggest thing is that the Moose sells liquor.
well, that's what I'm
and
saying, yeah.
that's where you go.
yeah.
How can you do, party store can't, but Moose
Right.
can, or
And it's
somebody
not
else,
like
or
the
how
party
they
store
sell.
only sells liquor.
I tell you what, Pat, I'm not discriminatory against any type of money coming
No,
into this.
no,
store.
the only reason why I ask is if anybody had any, like, I'm not going to go out and ask for, I was gonna say, the board should be the one to decide that. So, if the group, there's someone in the group that has a problem with selling to a or asking a pot dispensary
I'll
or a
go.
liquor store, or a liquor, oh, here we go. That
In
this is
between
what the
totes.
board's decided, and that's,
They might actually give us more money because it'll be
Yeah.
easy to realize what they're giving.
Well,
away.
my thinking was, someone told me, well, you wouldn't want, you got kids out there, you wouldn't want to have
That was the only thing I
you
was
know, that's
thinking
like-
is.
But,
Well, it
but
would be a
it's a
logo,
legit
it's not,
business.
it's saying come
Right.
It's
on.
not say
It'd
come
be a
and
logo.
It's not going to be
Right,
an
right.
advertisement. It'll
Product,
just
yeah.
be,
It's not gonna
you
be
know,
free
Name.
samples.
right,
And the biggest thing is, with the Parks Board, is we're a public entity. We treat everybody the same way that comes through that door. If you open it to the public, it's all hands on deck. It's
Right, but if
that
they
way.
put like a marijuana leaf on it, is that what, I mean, I know that they, for the village.
What's their logo?
I would suggest them not doing it, because that would be the type of sign I think.
Well, a
That
lot of
someone
them
might
are just
destroy.
green plus signs, you know what I mean, like.
But in reality, most kids don't know what a pot logo looks like.
You're-
Or if they do.
Yeah.
Little kids
yeah,
don't
they-
know.
Oh, no.
That little kids.
Bigger kids know, and
Yeah.
they know pot
Yeah, they know
dispensaries
already.
exist.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah, well,
you know,
the only, like I said, the only reason why I bring it up, Joe brings up a good point, if we were lucky enough, someone stepped forward and said, I want to sponsor you, we might all have our own personal opinion, but it's kind of like, if they're coming forward, we can't say, well, we're not going to take yours, we're going to take theirs,
Well, that's the biggest
Yeah,
thing
that's
here
just,
in the United States. If
I hope that's a problem. I really
Yeah.
hope that someone's coming
if
forward.
the folks
you know,
from Howell show up and want to put up a sign and buy a sponsor, I guess we got to go for it. I think we all know who's in Howell that used to be in Cohocton, without mentioning no names.
they have 3 letters, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a white
Oh,
sign.
yeah.
So we're a public entity. We gotta treat everybody the same way coming through the
Right.
door.
Even now?
It's a free country,
Yeah.
you know?
But,
you
but
can't
keep in mind,
Yeah.
the
not
overwhelming
gonna-
majority,
they're not
we're
coming.
going to be knocking on the door. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, but, you know, the thing is, you know, if the
Okay.
board is comfortable with, you know,
So
with
Joe, when you go to the
entity,
next
you
meeting,
know.
don't offer.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Down at the sheep factory in Howell.
Right.
Let's get that stricken from the record.
Yeah.
So $500 and the sign, and we're going to have a sign up front like saying thank you for it, and then
At the beginning of the course.
at the beginning of the course. Now,
And
my
then each hole will have.
The
yeah.
logo.
how are we how are we going to do that on hole wise? Is it just going to be first come first serve?
I would think that, yeah. if
Okay,
you put
because,
in
you know, I
first-
could see
you get
someone
first
said-
pick of what hole
Or
you
we could
want.
just randomize it and say, you get
Randomize it, or
whatever.
we could offer them, if the number's available, would you
Available.
like number 16, then maybe that's their lucky number, you know, it
Okay,
could be a thing.
Right. Well, I'm just going to say with the committee, you probably
For an extra
who's ever involved is
$300,
coordinate.
let you pick your hole.
There you go.
Yeah.
Money
Then
talks.
everybody will
We
pick
get that
number one.
stricken from the record?
Right, let's just make sure everybody coordinates with who's got the hole, that's all, you know, so we
Yeah.
don't oversell one hole,
Right.
you know?
So we need to figure out how we're gonna determine what holes, what number they're gonna get.
I think your best bet's probably to randomize it, because if you have 3 people out at once,
They want one.
how,
number
you know,
one.
are you
Yeah.
guys gonna just constantly be texting each other and who's keeping
Yeah.
track of it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's-
What do you got? You got 19 holes, you sell to 19 people, and then you just,
I'll be
Pull it out of
genius
a
and say
hat or
13's your
whatever.
lucky number, just tell whoever the business is, 13's your lucky number, you know?
So I think we'll just randomize it.
Okay, that's probably the best way.
Or there could be a
A lot of,
extra donation
Yeah.
for that number one. With an extra
But I think with the-
$100.
I think with the sign in the front, that's kind of your back, like, okay, we're doing it randomized, but they're gonna see your name as they're going in anyway, so that's,
Right.
you know.
and it's a good advertisement, because if you don't play disco, you can see who committed
Right.
themselves to the Parks and Rec.
Yeah, right. So
So
that's-
that, you know, the big ledger sign's a great idea.
You know, this might sound kind of silly. Just go out there and sell holes, and then you can make an event out of it, drawing the numbers out of a hat as to who's getting what hole.
Yeah, that's
opening.
true, you know.
The grand
Let's all
opening
meet
event.
at the Moose
Yeah.
Club, have a few drinks, and,
Except
you know,
for, like,
throw out some $20, and here we go,
If
there's
you only
more
sell
money.
10 of them, what do you do with you have to have a cutoff date, because we're gonna have to get the signs made and put out there. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then what we do is we start advertising. You know, your name here. You know, start. I mean, we continue. We don't stop selling the sponsorships till we can't sell the
No,
sponsorships.
no, I'm just,
So,
but when you're saying you're gonna do random drawing of names,
yeah.
you have to at some point have that time.
Can some of
Right.
this be done through Facebook? Can we put some of that on Facebook to see if we can just, rather than having to actually go, we can say, just throw it on Facebook and see if we get, rather than, we might get lucky and we don't have to do
But
much work at all.
Do that for a few weeks before
Yeah.
you actually go out and do the footwork.
Right.
Yeah, and, you know, since we are a member of the chamber, get on the chambers, you know, say, hey, could you help promote this fact that we're doing this?
Yep.
Except for the chamber wants you to
Wants
pay
us-
them for everything they promote.
Oh, we
In
talked
kind
to Richard
service?
about that one.
In-kind service. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, because I was looking at their thing, and, you know, they want you to pay them to be at this spot in their thing. And I think what's free is on their calendar.
Well, that would be a help there, you know. if they're on the
So
calendar.
let me see if I can clear this up then, real quick, if you don't mind, there,
No, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. So what we're proposing at this point is to start advertising through social media that we're looking for sponsors for the holes.
Yep.
And make a determination possibly by the next meeting to form a committee
Yep.
to sell
Or do you
sponsorships
wanna
after the
form- Is
fact.
there people now that want to form that committee and just get going on it?
Any
I
takers?
wouldn't mind making some calls and hitting some people.
You have to
Well,
wait
I
till
know
you
you
get
have
more.
to hit people, but, you know, can we be a bit
Only
more
two,
like-
only-
Wait until you get the contract put together,
I can
and
run
then
too
we can,
fast now.
once we have the contract, then we really can't do anything about the
Does the
contract.
board need to approve the contract, I guess, if it's just a straightforward contract for leasing? Because I'm sure that I can go on the internet and find a contract where people have leased signs for their ball fields and just convert it to leasing for here.
How did you do it for the ball fields here originally?
Originally, God, that was so long ago, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't sell them originally.
Okay.
One of the park commissioners did, and I don't think there was a contract. How's that?
Okay.
Probably not,
Okay.
but it'd probably be a good idea just to make sure we're covering our bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they were leased by the year, but most of the ones that sponsored the ball fields stayed up forever.
You know, that might not be a bad idea since we're getting back into softball too. I know that's off subject, but okay, I'll shut up now.
Well, so how do we want to wait till we get the contract before we actually start selling these? I just don't want to get too far ahead
I
of
would
ourselves.
I would have the
Yeah,
contract
Yeah, you
on.
really have to have a
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
You can-
A contract and a copy of this sign is what we're gonna.
Or you can
Sure.
authorize the 3 people on the committee to approve the contract so that you can start. I'm just saying.
That sounds fine to me. I don't have a problem. I think that makes sense.
Let's go ahead and form the committee, and then we can hand it down to them and get it moving.
Well,
Right.
so I mean, basically, 3 people on the committee, you've heard us discuss what we're, you know, how
Right, that's what I'm saying.
straightforward it is, and, you know, and, yeah, I think that's the biggest question on, what happens if a business pays us up and the business is no longer there? Do we keep it up? That is.
For the 5 years, because that's what our
Okay,
agreement is.
all right, that's
For
what
5
I was
years,
just gonna
yeah.
say.
No refunds.
Yeah, no refunds, and
Yeah.
we just keep it that way, that,
Yeah.
okay. 'Cause I
And
was
if it
gonna
gets
say,
damaged, we'll have to replace it at our cost.
at our cost. That's, I think that's the big thing too, that a lot of them looks like, this isn't gonna be a reoccurring thing for me, you know?
Most of our contracts are no refund. We have a
Yeah.
standing thing for no
Right.
refund on swimming lessons, all kinds of things.
Can I get a motion or anything on
Well,
this?
so,
Or
I think Sean was starting to make
Oh,
a
I'm
motion.
sorry, go
there,
ahead.
so
Oh,
we interrupted, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. So I guess I'd like to make a motion to form a 3-person committee to garner sponsorships for the disc golf course.
Support,
waiting for them to approve
And to approve the contract
and
and the
authorize them to
proposal.
approve the contract.
that sounds right.
Ditto.
I'll support that too.
Okay, so it was Sean, so it was Grugel and then Feeney?
Yep.
All right, so this one would require one, so Coster,
Yes.
Feeney,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Grugel,
Yes.
Miskovich,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Okay, we're in a new business now? Budget approval. Actionable items.
So who's the committee though?
Well, yeah, you didn't
Oh, I'm
want to
sorry.
say. Are there people that
Right.
want to be on the committee?
I do, but I have reservations.
Well, I think Donna
I
wants to.
will.
Donna,
Yeah.
there's one.
I'm thinking, Sean, did you want to? or-
I'd be willing to offer input, but the way
Yeah, you're gonna be,
I'm pretty tied up.
because I'd like to help you, but.
I'll volunteer to be on there.
Okay, that's
Donna
2.
promises not to hit me.
I promise.
Like, okay, good. We gotta deal there, we gotta deal.
That anybody ever sees, okay?
Okay. let's see.
Well, Joe,
Do we
it
need to-
sounded like you were Feeney's opposite. What about, you want to step up on that?
I'm going to rehab for my body, strength rehabbing. So I'm tied up during the week a lot. I got to get back on my race motorcycle. So I couldn't at this time until things straighten out with the rehab.
Okay.
I don't mind helping with it.
Okay, there you
There's our
go.
3.
All right.
So Tony, when do you think you can have a
I will try to
contract?
work on it by next week. How's that? I will try. And, you know, if you guys feel like going on the internet and seeing anything too, you can always shove it my way.
Is this something we'll actually have committee meetings for, or will we just be able to talk via text, email?
It's as long as it's the 3 of you, you can talk by text, email, or whatever.
Zoom.
Just don't bring anyone else into it.
Right,
Right.
yeah, we're at our limit.
Yeah. Do we need to get a roll call approval?
We already did it.
Okay, so
You
we
just-
moved to new business?
Yep.
Okay, new business, budget approval?
Right, you'll see on your desk, I gave everyone an updated budget. I just was able to, it's not like much changed on it, but I was able to, when I balanced the books, just go in and add it and make sure that it was correct. And I do want to point out that the one question that had been asked prior at the meeting that I gave an incorrect answer to, we were talking about the beach telephone and why it was so high. We talked about this summer. Remember, the alarm started messing up, and so we really had like a $900 phone bill that they cut down to like $300, and then the next one was like $400, and they cut it down to $200 for us. So what was happening is every 10 seconds, the alarm was calling a long distance number.
Oh, okay.
Ouch. That's
So that's since been fixed.
Oh, that's good.
So when I said that I thought it was the other one in there, I was wrong. When I started thinking about it, looking into it, that's what it was. So,
So you're talking about the beach telephone where it's 1,079?
yeah,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, it's over simply because of the fact that they charged us like an extra, I think it was
A
$600 or
lot.
$700
Yeah.
Wow.
for 2 months.
Okay.
Tony, I have one question on the beach telephone. We've had problems with that security system for years. Could they not dial that?
It is now on, at the cost of our company that had put it in, they put it in, and it's now a cell phone. So that alarm uses a cell phone to dial out.
Oh, good.
No
Because
longer uses our phone number.
there's enough neighbors that are close enough there that if that goes off outside, horns go off long enough, they're gonna call the cops.
And I might suggest that we look at getting rid of the beach telephone and just buying a cell phone for the beach to be able to use, the staff to be able to.
I think that's
One of those, so many minute dial-up.
track
Yeah.
phone.
Track
Yeah,
phone.
I think along the same line.
For the
that way,
summer.
Yeah. That way, all you'd have to do is keep a minimum amount of minutes on it. And you could use it elsewhere if you needed to, It's like, yeah.
That's
totally
what I
agree
was
with
gonna
that.
suggest we do once I got them to put the cell phone one in.
Okay,
Cool.
That I would like to see. Question. This is kind of leads to the rest of what I was going to talk about. When do we open up the beach? Is it after school?
When
or
school gets out.
And that's about the 13th of June?
I don't know when it is this year, but yeah.
Yeah, around the
mid-June.
13th of June. Okay. So that leads me to my next point on here. Last year, or this current year, out of the beach budget of $28,000, we spent $23,380 with a difference of $4,619.65. Realizing that we do have at least 2 weeks in June, right? Is that usually how it works out?
So-
2 weeks in June?
So we have our maintenance guy that starts earlier,
Right.
and it only pays, the budget last year, this one that you're looking at is July and August, and then September and October with our maintenance people plus our beach staff and stuff.
Right.
So
Well-
we haven't paid for May and June yet.
For May or June. So how much would you say would run for the maintenance person for May and June?
Well, it's not just the maintenance person, it's the beach staff for the 2 weeks in June too.
For the 2 weeks, right. Well, that's
Right.
what I'm saying. Do you have any rough idea on that? I just had an
Well-
idea here, and I didn't want to, take away and leave you like, I got nothing to pay the beach staff with.
Right. Well, and the reason I raised it is we're gonna have to raise our rates too, because Oakland County pays $16, $15.91
Yeah.
for a lifeguard.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Pat, to answer
What
your
is it
question.
that we were paying?
What?
What were we paying?
Anywhere from 11 to 14. Depending on supervisor or non-supervisor
Sure.
and how many years and blah, blah, blah.
If you can't get that, Tony, would an email with that
Yeah, that'd
information?
be fine. I guess my thought was, okay, just here was my thinking. So we had, money unspent, but you had the 2 weeks in June.
Right.
So that's what I was kind of just asking about in general. So what I had thought about was, we do, as at the workshop, we do have a fund that we've had for a number of years that's already set up, that we could use as a rainy day fund. We could put the funds in there. The way it works, we could call it a rainy day fund, but we can spend the money on anything we want as long as the board votes on it. So it's not, unless we decide that we want to restrict it, which I would never recommend because we never know what could possibly happen.
Right.
What I was going to suggest was we take a portion of what was left over from the budget last year, start off a rainy day fund on it. The reason why I was asking Tony about how much, time there was is I didn't want to say, oh yeah, let's take the whole 4,600, throw it in there, and then Tony's like, yeah, I have nothing left to pay people with. So my thought was on that, what if I proposed $2,500?
You're trying to take it from the park salaries fund?
Park salary, so,
But the problem is you need it by June.
well,
I'm telling you, all of that money there will be spent by June.
so your maintenance person will take up that amount?
Maintenance and guard staff.
But if they're not starting, when do you start paying
Some of
that?
them start in May helping to set things up and stuff.
Okay,
So we bring in extra staff to help with getting things prepared for the summer.
Getting clean up.
Clean up and.
okay, so that will take up that
repainting
whole
stuff.
amount then?
Pretty much, I'm gonna guess it will.
Okay,
And
okay.
here, you could take it from your budget right now with
Mm-hmm.
the understanding that it can come out whenever we're gonna need it to meet payroll. Because what you guys need to understand is the reason we used to be able to put it in there, Pat, was because the township floated us until December and January.
Mm-hmm.
And now they don't float us till December and January. So whatever money we have left at the end of a fiscal year starts the the first 6 months of the fiscal year. Does that make sense to everybody?
Okay, all right.
So,
then- Okay,
you know.
so you're saying that, okay, so.
So
no-
I'm not saying you can't. I would say, maybe you take, I don't even know where.
Well, we got the $70,000, that's cash.
Well, I guess the other, well,
I can't remember what it was.
Yes, but that money goes, most of that money was spent up until.
Right, that's what I wanted you to explain.
Yeah, so what happens is at the end of our fiscal year, we have money left over, $80,000. And that starts to pay for everything from July 1st through when we get the bulk of our taxes, which is the end of January and February. I mean, I think you'll see you're still
46.
$48,000 away from getting all of your taxes in at this point.
And the other thing we need to do is we have to have a cushion of like between 25 and 50%, right? So we can't
It's
use
more
up-
than that because you spend more money in July, August,
Right, but
September.
we have to
October.
end up with 25 to 50% of a cushion in that fund. We can't spend down past a certain point, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Can
I
we?
mean, we've
Okay.
gotten down to $3 before, and
Don't say that.
Not advisable, but it's happening.
it's just what happens. And
Yeah.
then that's
Well,
when
okay.
I start going, Mark, can you start putting money in? Mark, can you start putting the money in?
Okay,
You know,
well,
so
Okay.
I guess, okay, so we don't want to mess with that, is what you would suggest, okay?
well, I wouldn't necessarily mess. I'm looking to see if there's somewhere where I thought you could get the money from.
Well, my next suggestion would be on that is, now, you spoke of adding 6,000 to this year's budget for the park salary, correct?
Yes.
And that was for the possibility of getting a assistant director? Wasn't that what you told me?
Well, so what we typically do is we bring in someone in April or May to be our programming coordinator. So they help plan things for the summer. They also work the beach. They also work events, if we run classes and stuff, because I can't do them by myself. I need someone else to be there with me.
And we had someone like that last year?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what Brad did, but he also worked the beach, I think he worked the beach 30 hours, and he worked 10 hours for me once we started.
How much is that per hour? The
They
34,000.
get 14 an hour.
So this would be 14 an hour for how many months? Just one.
At least May, June, July, August, and part of September.
So basically 5 months. Okay.
But the problem is $14 an hour isn't really paying itself anymore. Although the gas station and McDonald's aren't paying very well still. So
Well, they're going up to $15. So
who is?
McDonald's. Ones I've been seeing are.
And that's like a 40-hour week,
Not
correct?
here in Michigan, or not here in Holly.
Is that like a 40-hour week for that person?
That person, yes.
For that person?
Yeah.
Is
But
that-
they don't get
that's
benefits
hourly,
or
right?
anything. Yes.
Right, so it's hourly, so if they work more than 40 hours.
No, they don't ever work more than 40 hours. The only one that ever works more than 40 hours is me.
Okay,
And then you guys pay me comp time,
okay.
so, you don't pay me, I guess,
Yeah.
get to take comp
You
time.
get it,
during-
yeah.
During, down the thing. I'm not opposed to saying, Pat, that right now we could do that as long as we can take the money out if it starts to get close.
Well, that was what I checked when I did this, and it's not an account, it's not like a CD where it's locked up for any amount of time. It is available to us to use. I just don't want to be putting you in a position that, wow, next week, I'm going to be short. That's why I was saying not to take it all.
Right.
But if it was needed, it's there. Like I said, as long as we don't put restrictions on it,
Right.
we can call it any fund we want. And the thing is, knock on wood, you hope things work out and you have that money sitting there. Because my thought was, when Tony's filing for grants and you have block grant, where you have matching funds, she doesn't have to think about, well, I got to go to the board and see where the money's at. She can say, we got it here, and I can go and present it to the board and say, we can do this, I can apply for this. That was kind of, my thinking on it. Realizing that, there's always that rainy day fund, that's always that possibility, But like I said, I don't want to take the whole thing and be sitting there.
Right.
I just want to start establishing.
Why don't you
and
say
going
we
on.
take $2,500 and it doesn't, I don't know that you necessarily have to say what fund it's coming out of. Well,
Right.
I guess I am gonna have to say what fund it's
Yeah,
coming
you
out
are.
of.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing, why I was looking at that, because I could look at that and say, okay, I see a, amount there. Because when I'm looking elsewhere, I'm like, I could, what am I shorting when I say that,
Well, why don't we take it out of improvements part 2?
Would that be acceptable?
For right now.
That,
Or part 2 equipment capital. Why don't you take 2,000 out of part 2 equipment capital?
I thought the 13,000 was part of the grant. Wasn't that the grant?
That's
we
the
thought-
next fiscal year. He's talking about doing it right now, right?
Yeah, from what we have down, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm looking at is if we have something left over or
Well,
something.
you can't do that on the improvements, there's only 5898 of budget.
Improvements part 2?
Yeah, isn't that,
No, there's, that's,
take your time.
look at your financial statement,
Yeah.
don't look at the budget.
Okay. I'm
Oh,
not-
well, actually, you can look at the budget, okay. Improvements part 2.
Yeah.
This year budgeted, you have
4,525,
4,000,
and we only used $58.
and you've only used, $60 so
Okay,
far.
so we have like,
So why don't you take 2,500, and then we can always
Oh, God.
Put it back in if you.
put
need
it
to.
back in.
Right.
Okay.
If that's acceptable, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not,
I think, though, that you might need to authorize me to be able to go ahead and get it, because if we're stuck in the middle,
something emergency.
right,
an
emergency.
emergency, we need to pay a payroll or whatever,
How much?
whatever.
Would that be,
I
obviously,
think she said 2,500.
2,500.
I'm acceptable with that, I just.
and,
I mean,
well, the
then you
only thing
start it.
is just to make,
Right.
just to make it so Tony doesn't get grief on it. How about we make it that, if you need to use it there in between meetings and that, in concurrence with the chair.
Yeah, just
And,
get
on
Kurt's
that,
approval.
that way,
Right.
we don't have any questions in that.
And
of course the
hopefully we
chair-
don't have an issue, and that money
Right.
could just stay in there,
Okay.
and then
Yeah,
next year
I know.
maybe we can go, okay, we ran some disc golf tournaments that we didn't really count on, so here's extra amount.
We can
and
throw
put
it in there.
too.
Yep.
Right,
That's-
that's kind of my thought on it, we kind of get in the habit, we look for something we haven't used and put
Why
on
don't you
there.
make a motion?
Okay, so I will make the motion that we use $2,500 now, that's from the parks, what one was that?
Improvements part 2.
Improvements part 2.
Improvements part two.
Improvements Park 2. $2,500 to be put in our, what we're going to call our rainy day fund, with authorization, if need be, in an emergency, if the director needs to use it, that she's authorized to use the funds with the approval, thank you, get the words out, approval of the chair.
I'll second that.
Second by Courtney.
So,
Roll call.
Feeny,
Well, if I say no, you're all gonna shoot me, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
say
would.
yes.
McBride,
Yeah, Donna's gonna slap him.
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Miskovich,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Coster.
Yes.
So I will contact Mark tomorrow
And ask what the,
and authorize him on your behalf to remove the money.
okay.
So you still have to go back and approve the budget though for the next fiscal year.
One last question.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Come on, Pat.
on the parks concession, it was just a thought here, just throwing the thought out here, it's nothing really
Under
major.
what?
Parks concessions.
Concession.
You were saying that, like last year, that it was mostly the staff that used it. I was just kind of curious if we might just eliminate us doing concessions, and maybe because you do have approval to spend X amount of dollars, right? That you use what you could spend and ask some of your employees what they would like. Either you could charge a minimal amount, or you could look at it.
But we do sell stuff to the general public too.
Well, I'm just wondering,
It
is
is-
it worth the effort though?
I
or-
think it is because it's something else that the staff does when they're just sitting up by the guard chair.
Okay, I mean, if you think
So,
that, you
I do.
think you get the time, you think that there's worth the time?
I
putting into it?
I don't think that they're overworked and,
Okay, well, I wasn't so much thinking overworked, I just didn't know the effort of,
Is it
you know-
worth the aggravation?
no, I think
Putting
it is,
the
I think
inventory?
it's worth the aggravation.
Okay.
I'm gonna limit how much stuff I get and get just every year I keep paring it down.
This year
Trying
you'll
to
pare it
find,
down too far and
then the people will
Yeah.
complain and that's okay, then I can go buy it, right?
Well, right.
So,
All right, just drilling that
no,
out there.
that's just where that's where I feel, Pat.
I do like the idea about the phone, because I think that is something that's a good idea, because, you know, once the beach is closed, it makes no sense paying anything. So what you're saying is, once the contract's up, you were thinking
There is
that-
no contract. I'll call tomorrow and cancel the beach phone.
Could you? I think that would be a good idea, and then just go to the track phone or whatever.
Yeah, and then I'll get
whatever.
that, and then when it's time to open the beach up, we'll get a track phone, and we'll just put that number on the internet, and put
Sounds-
that number on Facebook, and that'll be the beach number, and it'll
That-
change
that-
every year, unfortunately, but.
Yeah.
That's
well,
fine.
Make sure it stays in one place in case there's an emergency, because cell phones are easier to misplace.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe where they put the current phones.
I don't want to know.
If I could interject real quick. So we pay for a phone for the beach, and we also pay for cell phone for you, correct? Would it not be cheaper, or less expensive, not cheaper, I don't know who we got our phone lines through here, but like a certain company I know of, you can add a line for $20 a month.
Because we're a business account, you gotta add 4 lines before you get the discount.
Gotcha. Okay.
And a lot of the $20 deals, you have to have 2 lines.
Well, he's saying add a line to mine.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but yeah, you have to add
Yeah.
4 lines.
4 lines
to
since
get
it's a
to that
business.
discount.
Okay. It was just an idea.
No, I get it, Sean, and
And the other thing is too, for cell phones out there, teenagers, yeah, okay, you know, I think I'd rather go with the track phone, then at least that's a
Yeah.
lesser of a loss, you know.
yeah, so.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget approval?
I don't think they heard you say it.
I make a motion to accept budget.
Seconds?
Support.
All right.
Roll call?
McBride,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Miskovich,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Coster,
Yes.
Feeny.
Yes.
B, seeking sponsors for softball. Patrick?
Well, you know, glad you brought up about the disc golf, because that was kind of, what I wanted to do is, do we want to do that, number one, you know, for the softball? And number two, what, you done
Do
that?
what? I'm confused.
Advertising
Okay,
for the softball.
advertising on the
At the
fence or
field,
something,
at the
okay.
field, right, I'm
Okay.
sorry. At the field. And question, when it's been done in the past, what kind of signage did you do out there? That's, you know.
It
sounds like-
was,
Bill-
4 by 8 pieces of
Yeah.
plywood, basically.
Billboard size.
Billboard,
Right.
but I wouldn't think that you would do anymore because.
Right.
4x8 plywood costs an arm and a leg now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost
Pressure
around
treated.
2 legs.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
They
I-
paid for someone to design their sign and bring it out and put it up.
bring it out there, right?
It was
But
their
if you were
responsibility.
gonna do it now, I would assume you would do
A
some
banner.
kind of banner,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask about banner. Now, would that be something you guys, with the background, with the banner, would that be something that we would produce, or would that be similar to, like you're saying, with the sign? They would bring us a banner, you put it up there, or how would?
My only concern right now is that you're trying to get people to buy
Right, well-
big signs, so maybe you try to sell those before you try to do something.
Yeah.
That's just my thought.
Well, no, I agree. What, you know, I would tend to think that, you know, the disc golf would take priority over it.
Exactly.
But, you know, I was just wondering, in the past, has that really ever generated, do we know if it generated much, you know?
We stopped doing it.
Oh, yeah.
They did it for the first probably 5 years, and then
Mm-hmm.
people didn't want to pay anymore.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
so we just took their signs down. Some people never even picked up their signs. Of course, they
Right.
rotted too.
Right.
Um,
Because I was gonna say, maybe not this year, but something we might take into consideration is I was at a high school function up in White Lake, I guess, Lakeland School anyways, and I noticed our local car dealership had a banner in the gym there. And my thought was on that, I wouldn't want to disrupt the disc golf because that should be our first priority because that's in the park and that. But my thought was is that somewhere down the line, or if we had someone who showed interest, that we might not have a ton of sponsors, but maybe we get 1 or 2, maybe someone to sponsor a field. You know, the thought be, you know, going forward, instead of having a dozen of them, say, you know, you have a, you know, car dealership sponsor one field, another group sponsor the other field, you know, something like that. And I was thinking that, you know, would be a better way of doing it than trying to get a bunch of small ones up there and then trying to figure out, you know, where you're going to put it. Just a thought out there. I see we're talking about doing some, you know, improvements on the ball field this year. And, you know, I was just thinking that might be, you know, something to keep in the back of our minds. You know, like I said, I don't want to interfere with the disc golf, you know, on there. But I was wondering if we did run across somebody that might not, you know, say, well, I'm not interested in the disc golf, but if you had something else, you know, to sponsor, that might be something.
And also, the biggest thing is we don't have to have them sponsor anything. We could sell them, rent them advertising space, you know? So if they didn't want to sponsor.
Well, that's what I say, you know, which way would, you know,
Yeah.
something, you know, to kick the idea around on there.
Because if
Yeah.
this place gets busy with disc golf, somebody's going to say, geez, I'd like to put my McDonald's sign up there, you know?
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of fence out there on 2 ball fields.
Right. So, yeah, that was kind of my thought. Would you want to do one? Would you want to go to the, you know, do multiple signs? You guys, I've never saw it when you had multiple signs out there. If that, you know, forget the fact of whether people paid or not. I was just wondering how did that
So what would happen
look?
is we didn't sell it enough.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
The one thing I was gonna suggest, are we really ready to do that right now?
I don't think
think
so.
we
I
got
don't
a
think
lot
so
on our
either.
plate at this point with trying to get the sponsorships and what's coming up with what Sean's gonna suggest.
No, but I think it was a good idea to bring.
No, I do.
bring up.
I agree.
Yeah, give us something to think about.
Right, but I don't think we're
Oh,
ready
no,
to
no,
do it now.
I wasn't looking for any approval. I was just kind of getting the idea out there.
So, but I don't think we wanna lose track of it, so that's, how would we keep track that we?
I think you would just bring it up next year. I mean, I don't think it would be something you want to carry on your agenda every month.
No, it's not.
Okay, so,
And like I said, you know, we moved along with the disc golf, and obviously that takes
And maybe we
precedence
say,
over.
who knows, maybe we sell enough that by fall ball, we could be looking at that, so.
well, I'm sure if somebody wanted to sponsor something and they came up to us, I don't think we're gonna turn them down,
No.
No.
so. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Pat?
Nope, that was it.
just move on.
Move on, okay. Renaissance Festival swap meet, that's Sean.
That's me. All right, well, I've talked about this in the past. We sat down with Pat. Something I've been thinking about, something I want to do to possibly bring in some more revenue to the park to where it's going to cost us hopefully next to nothing to get this done. This is just something I threw together real quick, something I was thinking about. What I like to do, we all know how much traffic the Renaissance Festival gets. They get a ton. I'm part of multiple Facebook groups on there. The following, I think it's 4 or 5 pages, you'll see where I put out a feeler to one of the Michigan Renaissance Festival fan sites. And if you look, it basically says, I'm curious, would there be any interest? Underneath that, Joe, because I know you're not very computer savvy, you're going to see the number 69. That's how many positive
Feedbacks you got.
feedbacks I got from it. And if you go through, you'll see the comments. What a great idea. Sounds fabulous. Sounds like a plan.
Well, these are on top of the 69.
Right. So, and there was more comments going through today. If you look through, you also see that there's a couple vendors who would be interested in something like this. What I was essentially thinking, you can see I just threw out a general timeline. I was thinking along the road when you come to Sorensen, along the tree line there is where we could set up, or they can set up their own 10 by 10 canopies. We rent out each space, $25 a day. You figure that out. If you get 20 vendors, that's like $625, over $1,200 for the weekend. We don't offer them any overnight camping. We don't offer any overnight security. We just use everything that we have that's in place currently. We have, we'll have the porta potties out there for softball. We might have to bring in a couple extra garbage cans. But I was just thinking that I could reach out to multiple vendors there at the Renaissance Festival. I mean, essentially, in my opinion, this would be a
pre-holiday Renaissance.
Well, yeah, it's actually 2 weeks before the Renaissance Festival opens. I believe they open on August 21st this year. We could probably do food trucks up at the top of the hill. I just think that we would see a ton of foot traffic in here. Might get some extra visitors to the park. Might be interested in the disc golf, see what we got going. People will see what we got back here because they're, going to be generally interested in this, but, their attention is going to be diverted to everything else that we could possibly have going on. I just wanted to pitch this as an idea. If it was something you wanted to go ahead on, I would, be more than happy to start doing the footwork on it. But as you can see, there's already been a pretty positive response just to the idea. The most work I think we would have to do besides clean up, and we would get volunteers for that. Obviously, there's people, if you look in the comments, they're looking to volunteer, is to plot out where they would set up their 10 by 10 canopies, spray paint the lines into the grass or paint the lines into the grass, create a grid, on paper, this vendor's going to spot number 1, this vendor's going to spot number 2. Very easy. I think we could pick up a few bucks and a few other patrons. I just wanted to put it out there to you and see what you guys thought.
Any comments or opinions?
I think a lot of those people come from out of state and stay throughout the fair. They would probably like the park and come back. We get bored.
Yeah. The only thing is we couldn't offer them overnight camping here.
No. But I just mean during the festival, during the week when they're not at Fest, I mean, they probably like the disc golf or, something to do.
Right.
Do you think this is, I guess that's 2 weeks before. I was going to say, you find people still looking to swap stuff out and be selling for the actual Renaissance Festival for this year? I mean, when you first proposed it, it was like they can't, or didn't really scale back because of COVID and everything. Wasn't that the first time you were thinking of it? Thinking, well, people are wanting. Do you think that would be a real market for you guys are more involved for a lot of selling and going on it.
I don't think it would take away from the Renaissance Festival itself, because what a lot of people try to do is they try to put together their last minute additions
Well,
to
that's
their
what I
garb
mean,
and
yeah,
clothing and
yeah, that's-
accessories.
Okay.
So.
Just anyone that wanted to trade or whatever, that's what the point is, swap meet.
Right, swap meet, sell your wares, blah blah
We
blah.
don't care as long as they're paying us, right?
Right.
Right.
You know, if they
Right.
trade, they trade. If they don't, they, you know.
Absolutely.
My only concern would be along that road, where do they park and where do people?
Driving
park?
in, yeah, I was thinking the
Okay,
same thing. Yeah.
so
That would be I would think you're gonna be better off if you try to do it
Deeper in the park.
deeper into the park. I'm just saying.
what?
Because you could set some up on the hill.
You might
You and I
want
could
to spread,
walk
you
it.
might want to
Yeah.
spread it around just so they have to kind of walk the park too.
Well, the idea was maybe have them park, the vendors park down by the mulch area that we got down there. I mean, if you felt that the area along the tree line was too small, what about the area in between the fields?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
suggesting,
okay.
going up in that area.
Um,
I'm
it-
just concerned with,
Driving
okay,
in, people
I'm
driving.
coming in,
Yeah.
and I just know how people are. I want to go to that vendor, I'm stopping my car right here, and I don't care that 3 other people want to go around me.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that road's, plus it's like this, so.
right.
If one person stops, it's gonna put a monkey wrench in a lot of people.
Well, and another thing I was concerned about when I was thinking about this was the softball itself. If we were to set up in between the fields, would that be a hindrance to any of the softball games going on?
Not as long as you're setting up, you say you have it setting up Saturday morning at 7 a.m., is that it? Or is
Yeah.
that a Friday and a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, as long as you're doing it Saturday morning, I don't see why it'd be an issue. Friday night, it might be an issue because we might have games.
Okay.
So, and what they sell or don't sell or swap, that wouldn't be.
As long as it's legal.
Yeah, as long as it's legal.
Well, of course, if we were to do this, we'd have to have a contract between the vendors and us. Definitely lay out some ground rules for them. That was something I was going to try to mock up before I got here today. But, I mean, when you look at some of these, I mean, you're talking pages and pages and pages. So, I'll get something together if this is something you guys wanted to go ahead with. But, like I said, I just wanted to pitch this to you guys.
I think it's an awesome.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, great idea.
Can we get a motion? Oh, no, sorry, Joe, you got a comment?
I have a friend that's my taxidermist up in Midland, and he makes a lot of fur pieces for the Ren Center. He's been there 5 or 6 years, and it's nothing for him on a Saturday and Sunday to do $10,000 worth of business at the Ren Center. And last year,
Weekend.
I was down at Groveland Oaks, and we went up to Grand Blanc to get some ribs. And Dixie Highway was a parking lot. I mean, it was just unbelievable of people there waiting on Dixie Highway trying to get in there, northbound and southbound.
It always
Well,
is crazy.
I just threw out the $25 per day as a,
Why don't you just make it a $50 for the weekend? So if they want to just leave on Saturday, they still have paid you the $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
that
let's
keeps
just make it
accounting
50.
simple
Okay.
too. It keeps-
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I did have one question though, just devil's
I think we've got to
advocate.
bring in another bathroom though.
Yeah, that would be one I was thinking of for all, at least, the,
Are we all in favor of going
Yeah.
forward with this? And then we can
Yeah,
let
that's-
Sean figure out what he wants to do. And I know you're gonna want help, so do we need to form a committee for this so Sean can get the help he needs, or what do we need to do, Tony?
What does Sean want?
yeah.
I mean, if people want to help me out, that's fine. I'm going to do a lot of this through social media, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't dissuade anyone from wanting to help.
So do we need to form a committee, or can we just, I don't think we can, because if we help more than 3 people help
Put more
them.
than 3 people on your
Or
committee,
two.
then you can't.
Right.
So I think if people wanted to help,
Help.
if Sean needs help with a specific thing, ask a specific person maybe.
Question, I did have a question for Sean. Did you see any site where you were gonna need money from us up front to help out on this? Any upfront money?
The only thing
Maybe the restroom.
extra restrooms, possibly.
But if we get the money before I mean, we're gonna have to get the money beforehand, so we should be able to cover that.
I mean, we would need some, yeah, I mean.
Lead time though on something like getting porta johns, I'm thinking during the
Well, that's not a
summertime.
big deal, they're just gonna say, I need you to drop me off the
Okay,
unit this
that's,
week.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on the bottom of this, I just put under items needed, I said volunteers, porta potties, maybe some extra trash cans, some water for volunteers, and spray paint to plot the vendor lines, and that's about it.
Yeah, we just got a bunch of trash cans.
Ah,
We got
I,
covered.
I was just gonna ask Tony, does the, village help out on like with the grading of the parking lot at all? No, cause that is something that.
Although if you've been there after I've spent the fall there, it's much better than it's.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, something to keep in the back of our minds, if we're gonna do something like this, that we might need to go forward if we have to hire somebody or see if we, have to pay to make sure that that's decent in there, Knock on wood that it is, but, in case it isn't, so.
Any more comments or
Would it be
opinions?
a smart idea perhaps to have a parking area for the visitors?
That's right.
Oh, for the visitors?
Yeah, like having everybody park
Wherever
in
they
the
wanted
parking
to.
lot and then walk from there.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but isn't that something we could table and figure out later?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're too far, we're not far enough in to figure out what we need to do.
right.
Well,
And we haven't done it yet, so.
I don't think that that's something the board has to discuss.
Right.
That would be something that Sean and I and whoever else would sit down and figure that out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's kind of an administrative thing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have people dressing out?
Well,
Are you-
when I put it out there,
Could you
yeah,
stop them
we're gonna encourage costumes.
Seriously,
I
it's
think I have
Renaissance
to.
people.
We're gonna encourage costumes. One of the things I did put on here that you might have read is that I'm gonna reach out to musical and street performers to come, and they could busk. We wouldn't charge them, to come in for the weekend, but maybe get a little Renaissance entertainment in here, and people could throw the dollar in a hat
If
for them or
people are
whatever.
gonna be here all weekend, the food truck idea, maybe, if there's a
and-
place for them.
No,
They weren't able to make it to the sledding, but they did, the one here in town said they were definitely interested. Just give them the heads up so they could put it on
Well,
their
if we were
calendar.
doing this, we would want to be charging food trucks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
You know.
I just have one question on this. Calling this the Sorensen Park Renaissance Festival Swap Meet. Do they got the copyright on the Renaissance Festival name?
I don't think so.
'Cause there's a bunch
We're
of
not
other
calling it the
Renaissance-
Holly.
We're not calling
Renaissance
Holly,
Festival.
we're
Yeah,
calling
that's true.
Sorensen.
There's
Yeah.
lots
So,
of.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't even thinking of that.
Yeah, that's
so
true. It's the Holly Renaissance Festival.
We're not,
There's
we're
lots
of
we're saying
Renaissance
Sorensen.
festivals.
Yeah, the Sorensen Renaissance Festival, yeah.
So can I make the motion that we, that Sean go ahead with the Renaissance Festival swap meet?
Seconds?
I'll second it.
Second. What do I do now?
Ask us if we want to.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
You just gave yourself more work.
You just gave me more work.
Egg hunt.
Yeah, so I've been talking to parents.
Yeah, she's got some. Yeah.
There's still some real concern about COVID, even though we're opening things up, and there are some parents that are still worried about it, and then there are some parents that could care less. So, I would propose that we do it the same way we did it last year, which is we could sign up 100 kids at a time. We have them sign up in advance. We do one, and then instead of going the hour and a half like we did last time, we're just gonna go 45 minutes. Because I timed it last time. By the time people got in, got out on the fields, got back out, the other people were already coming in and they could go out. So, but what I would like to say is that I think that some businesses have done really well, but I think others are just recovering.
Yep.
So what I would like to suggest is that we go ahead and spend $500 and purchase the toys ourselves this year, and not hit businesses up to sponsor it, and do it as we did last year, which is people signing up in advance, running maybe 2 go rounds. The
Right.
question is, what time do you guys want to start? It is going to be April 9th, because that's the weekend before going too late in the day causes those parents who have babies that go down for naps. You can't win. Like, you know, we moved it to 10 o'clock at the beach because parents complained about their
You're always gonna have
kids'
people complain.
naps.
So-
I would like us to do maybe a 10 o'clock run and an 11 o'clock run and stay away from the lunch hour. If that's okay with you guys, and you know, to spend the $500 and just buy the stuff ourselves.
Do you need help stuffing it?
Probably, but I have 2 seniors that are driving me that I love because they're great.
Wow.
But they can start stuffing too. But yes,
Okay.
well, I'll be putting out a thing.
I was just gonna say, you need help on it.
I'll order everything like, if you guys authorize it, I'll get it ordered by the end of this week.
I did have a question though. How difficult, I see you were generous and offered it to the group that was doing it for the autism. There was a thing on Facebook that we're going to use our eggs for.
I said I would loan them 500, of which they would then return 500.
Is it worth it? I mean, is that kind of hard getting the 500 back or?
Well, yeah, we need them.
Okay, I was gonna say-
So I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm not
Okay,
gonna give them
when you said when I
$500
heard that when I saw that on Facebook, I was just like, oh, that's. You know, I didn't know how many you figured you'd get back. So,
Oh no, I said I'm gonna give you 500, and I'm gonna expect 500 back.
Well, you know what? I volunteered to help out on that, and I will make sure that we get up and get them
You
back
know?
to us. How's
so
that?
if their kids
Okay.
are smashing their eggs, then I guess they're gonna have to come up with ways.
Okay.
To,
I was just curious if that.
I mean, if we get like 400 back,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Okay.
I just
That's
don't. You know,
You're expecting some back.
I'm
some back,
expecting
okay.
most back.
Yes, most back.
Okay.
Right,
All
right.
right.
Yes, so.
Well, so do I need to make a motion based on?
Well, actually, I can spend up to 500, so I
Right,
guess
yeah,
really
you don't
I
really need a
I
motion
just
for
am
that.
looking for you guys to, you know,
Agree.
does everybody think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think that's it, you know.
And then next year we'll hit people back up again to sponsor.
After we get all our disc golf sponsors.
Yeah,
That's
there you
it. Then we'll hit them back up. We're back
All right.
again.
Especially since we did that.
Okay.
So I can move on, Tony? Softball field caps, actionable item, that's from Tony.
Yes. So, the field caps are those yellow or black, basically they're drain tiles that you put across the fence that prevents people from running and doing stupid things like running over them and cutting their arms open because the top of the fences are, you know, ours are in pretty bad shape. We have not replaced them, so it's the fields. I'm sorry, I replaced half of the field. The rest has not been replaced since the fields pretty much went in 32 years ago, 30-some years ago, because that was the first thing we put in the thing. So I really think we need to look at replacing them this year. And so I sent this, you all should have gotten a thing from me with a breakdown that says HDP Beacon out at athletics.com in your packet. So you have a couple different options. Last time we did this, I was much younger, and it takes at least 3 people to put these on the fence. Did everybody find their thing?
No, 'cause
It should have been at the very end of your packet. That's
Page
not it.
number what?
I know I included it.
There we go.
Yeah, you did.
In the synopsis.
Yeah, it's in the message. Are people finding it?
Is it this?
No.
It's an Excel sheet.
It's
found
an
it.
Oh,
Excel
is it-
sheet.
Yeah, right here on the back of the.
Oh, it's on the
Oh,
back
it's-
of the synopsis.
Oh, it's on the back of my synopsis.
Oh,
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
You're right.
Yeah, I saw that first and thought it was a single page.
Okay, so there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can buy it with the cut down the middle already made. Then it takes 3 people to put it on. 2 people to spread it with the spreader. The spreaders cost like $70. 2 people with the spreader, and 1 person just walking behind, lining it up and popping it down on top of it.
That must be it, yeah.
Those are the first prices that you're looking at, cost per field. If you wanted it black or yellow, I think the cheapest I was able to find that was $1,227, but that does not include shipping. Okay? The other way, the way we did it last time, and it's a real pain in the butt, is someone has to go along before you even do it with a saw and cut a straight line down it, and then you still need the 3 people to come along and put it on.
And then you're taking a chance that somebody could get hurt or not cut it straight or,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we
Waste
did it
and
last
that,
time, and if you look, I was actually amazed that curtain lumber was cheaper than Home Depot.
you know.
Yeah.
So I was
Easy, yeah.
pleasantly surprised to find that out. So, I mean, I would rather, and quite frankly, so you can get it in other colors.
Can we get red and gray to match the holly?
No. The only colors I was able to find it in black, yellow, orange, red, and green, and blue.
What do you think, yellow?
If we did yellow, then we can get it from, then it's 14, 15. No, wait.
You got color.
Yeah.
Nope, Douglas Polycat fence, they have their 100 rolls in either yellow or black. It's 1,230 per field. And then I would have to buy the spreader. And then I'm gonna need to find people to help put it up.
Now, the outfield fence, how high is that? Are you gonna do the whole outfield fence?
It's falling apart too, it's 10 feet.
10 feet, okay. What I have, that you can borrow, is
Horse drunk.
ATV, yeah, ATV scaffolding. It's got big wheels, you can adjust them for uneven ground, and you can pull it along, and it's 2 sections, and 1 section is 5 feet high, and I got picks on it you can walk on. You can put up 2 sections, which give you 10 feet, and it's 7 feet long, and you can either pull it with the quad, or you can push it along as you go.
I am not letting you pull it with you standing on top of it, I just wanna say that right now.
Yeah, it wasn't my fun.
Well, obviously, the cut's the way you want to go.
I think it's the
Yeah,
way
I
to
mean,
go, I
that's,
really
you
do,
know.
because, simply because
You'll
Yeah.
get it done quicker, there's less
Right.
chance of any.
less
And
chance
waste.
of someone getting hurt
Yeah.
Right.
and whatever. You know, there's a $130, $34 price difference between
Yeah,
if we
but-
wanted to do it, you know,
Can you get samples of this so we can see what the quality is?
no, so we need to get this ordered. I'm sorry.
Well,
You can just cut me, I'm
it's
fine.
pretty.
No, I can't. I mean, it's, you know, I would have to buy a roll to get a sample.
When did you need to have this up by too? That's the other.
May 1st,
May
that's the
1st,
problem.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, so
I would
this
like
is,
to at least
No,
get-
that's fine.
I would like to at least get the lower sections done by May
Mhm.
1st.
okay.
And then,
And there's nothing salvageable what's up there, so this is the
Pretty
price
much,
to do everything,
the only
right?
part that's okay is and it's gonna get bad quick, is the black part on the lower field.
But this would do all of it, right?
Well, you have to times it by
Double.
2, because that's.
Yeah, by 2, yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that would be,
Yeah.
okay, so.
But this would also show the teams that we're putting money into. the
Right,
Right.
right, yeah, that's,
You know, which.
and that is something the players will look at, that's like, how well is the lines, you know, it's like, I'm not paying for
I
this.
mean, you know,
yeah.
they actually were much happier last year with the way the line, it got dragged and stuff, it's just whatever.
Former softball years, I remember what people used to complain about, and, you know, it's like, so that is something that they do look at, you know, for those guys that think they're gonna go over the fence catching
Well,
the
there are
ball,
idiots
right?
that do try to do it, that's the sad part.
Yeah, I
you
know.
You know, and I keep reminding them that they should look at this. So, I mean, personally, I kind of think it would be fun to do something like orange and red, or a yellow and a red or something, just so that they're different
Different.
colored.
They stand out.
Yes, they stand out, you know.
Don't
Black is kind of hard to see,
Right.
yellow's
Right.
not, but it would be nice if both fields were a different color.
That's fine.
And also, black absorbs the heat, which should cut down, which would cause it to
Break
degrade
down quicker.
faster too.
So,
That's true too, yeah.
so I would really like to order it from Beacon Athletics. So here's my other thing, and I didn't even try to figure this out because it got really confusing. Hang on a second, I didn't figure out the other one.
What other one?
The one that I didn't give you a total on?
Oh, the practice sports?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Because
about?
you only
even
do 100
yellow?
feet?
Yeah,
But
that-
it's 84 feet. So,
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think Joe's got a good point. If you're gonna go for longevity, you probably don't want a color that's going to be absorbing heat and breaking it down even quicker. You know, that's, my thought is on this, that we get our, you know,
So
quite a
to-
few years use out of it,
Okay.
so.
Well, okay, so here's the deal, with practice sports, I think I can do it for about 15.45 a field. The nice part about theirs is they're only 7-foot sections, so.
One goes bad, you can replace
You
it.
can, yeah, you buy a whole thing for 84 feet for $118.
It's easier putting up 7-foot
It's easier
sections.
to put up a 7-foot section, especially when we're talking the 10-foot
Yeah,
than
Yeah.
it is.
right,
Oh, okay.
Because my scaffold's only 7 feet long.
right, so this would
So
fit
it's perfect.
perfectly.
Oh, and
Right.
they have the different colors too, I'm sorry. I was
And they
reading
have
my
different
book.
colors that
Okay.
they don't change, I don't think they change their,
The price.
What,
they do.
what is light and regular over here?
Yeah, that's the difference. Let me hang on, let me see if I can go to their website real quick, because I think I wasn't,
That was the reason why you weren't too interested.
might be the reason I wasn't too interested. Practice sports.
Well, if the 100-foot roll's too hard to handle, all we gotta do is take a hacksaw, cut them off any length we want,
Right.
cross cut them, you know, zap. So
That's true.
it's still doable,
Yeah, it is. It's just more work then.
but it only takes about 2 minutes to saw through that.
Yeah, but how many sections you're gonna have to cut.
All depends on how much you wanna handle at one time. You gotta, you know,
Saws are fun.
if you got a 7-foot of scaffold, you
Depends
can
on
probably
the
do
handle.
10, 14 feet at one time, because you're already gonna take up 7 feet and cap it, so you just gotta slide it down enough to do the rest of it.
Right.
'Cause a 100-foot roll's a giant snake.
I would kind of agreed though, with different colors, that that's
What
kind of
Yeah.
unique. I think that, I like that idea. I mean, the price isn't,
Well, I was even gonna,
Oh,
that much.
I know, wait, theirs are different, so, okay. Yeah, there's a big difference between theirs, there's okay, so, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. Theirs are different than the other ones, theirs are actually designed to go around and be tall.
oh,
They're a different thing. Their light one's a lot lighter material.
It's like a water meter or something.
but you're
Seems like
paying
a
for
phone.
that.
That's
though.
real tight.
Is it foam?
Yeah, so that, no, it's plastic.
hard as
Plastic?
yeah.
PVC plastic.
My eyes are
But
very-
their more expensive one is 170 for the box. So it's a lot, it's
60.
more money.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
It's a lot more
Yeah,
money,
so-
so,
For 100 feet, it's 170.
Yeah,
well,
I thought-
no, for 84 feet.
yeah, 84 feet.
Oh.
I thought it
Yeah,
might be
so-
fun to do maybe red and green, holly,
Well, we won't be able to do,
Christmas.
oh yeah, we would be able to do, well, red and green
I mean,
if we did the, Beacon Athletics. Now,
Yeah.
of course, they say that we may have to have a forklift to get it off the truck, but you know, you just climb up in the back of the truck and roll it off.
Well, we have a forklift, it's called a loader tractor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
so.
rope and a chain, we got a
Yank
fork
it
truck.
off.
So,
I would, so, I mean, yeah, I think we're all agreed the color, that would be kind of different, you know, kind of a unique one. Plus, you know, plus when you're pointing to the field, green field, red field, whatever,
Right.
you know,
So,
that's kind of, you know, that's
Right.
kind of a neat too, you know, from,
so I would, so, I don't know if green, because green's not that bright, that's the only problem.
no,
No, and it's
I
not
was thinking
blended with the
orange and
field.
Red would be kind of more,
I like the blue and red idea.
Well, except for blue is not one of my options.
no,
Well-
it's
Yeah.
orange, red
Orange, red, or green.
I like
Unless I wanted to, well, it depends
Oh,
on
that's
which,
in the light.
if you want me to go with the light material, then you could do red and yellow,
Or
or
green.
if you want me to go with, so.
But don't you, so which one do you think is best for handling? Gives you the colors you want, you know, which one, and, you know, so I'm looking at the beacon, does that fit
Yeah, I
what you
mean,
need?
Joe's actually right, we can take that 100-foot and just take, and go, zzz,
Yeah,
you know,
And that's,
I don't have a problem either way. I mean, I'm gonna leave it up to you.
so,
What's any
I
color
would think
difference?
that I would like to maybe do one field yellow and the other field red.
okay.
So one's gonna be cheaper, because I can get the yellow cheaper,
Mhm.
you know, or, you know, and do the other one, either orange or red, whatever color you guys want.
No,
Or we could do orange
you
and red, I
pick,
don't
don't
care.
put all that stuff on us.
Yeah.
I
this
know, I'm
case-
telling you.
Well, I would definitely.
You're gonna see it more often than we are, so
Yeah, I would
there, you know,
definitely
whatever.
want red for the holly
So,
Yeah.
color,
red.
you know, because we gotta.
so that you were saying times 2, if we went with the color, whichever that may be.
Well, so if I went with one yellow and one red, then one's at 14, 15
You're
plus
talking
the other's at 15,
$2,900,
49.
almost 20.
Plus
Plus
shipping,
Right.
which I couldn't find out shipping unless I placed an order.
Yeah.
What
That's
if
ever
we-
changing with the
okay,
price of
so what if we authorized? Okay, so if you add those two together, it's what? Over a little over 3,000, right?
Right.
Would shipping be more than 400?
I don't know.
It shouldn't be.
I would
Well,
say,
They're saying
This
with the
day and
price of
age, it might
diesel.
be.
Yeah,
Because
it's like, yeah,
gas,
that's
you
what I was
know.
just gonna say. What if we make it authorize expenditures up to 3,700? That way, I'm thinking that leaves you 600 and something, close to, you know, for shipping. And, you know,
Well, where's the
hopefully
shipping
it's
from,
not
do
any
we know?
worse than that.
I don't
How
know,
much-
and I'm actually gonna call Beacon and see if I
Yeah.
can get them to cut me a deal,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
How much did you say, 37? Why don't we
3,700.
just round it off to $4,000, that way if shipping goes up, it won't go up much, you know?
What do you guys think on that?
Can we get a motion? And let's just vote
Make
on
that
it.
motion.
Yeah, make that
I'll make
motion.
that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Can we get a,
Yeah, hang on.
They're coming all the way from Wisconsin.
Yeah, if you told me 4 months ago a certain shipping, I'd say you're ridiculous, but I'm
Right.
seeing it already too. you
$4,000.
know.
Four
We're gonna
grand.
see $5 gas here real quick.
I know.
We have
Don't remind
expediters
us.
that come to
I
my
got a
company,
bicycle.
and they've doubled the prices already.
Here we go, sorry, I didn't find it.
And we got.
Alright,
we need a roll call on this one?
McBride,
Yeah.
Yes.
Virgo,
Yeah.
Miskovich,
Yes.
Hutchins,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Feeny.
Yes.
I'll make sure my scaffold's ready to go.
Yeah, well, that was my next question. What do you need people-wise?
I'm gonna need at least 2 people to help me, so.
I'd say 2 people on the scaffold, 1 on the ground.
Well,
We,
At least
we,
3 people.
we gotta wait till
Harvey?
we can get it delivered, so let's
You
wait.
gotta wait to find out when we can get it delivered, then I will call people and say,
And we need to
hey,
figure out
Yeah.
what
you know,
day,
Okay.
so.
I don't know that we're gonna do it all in one day.
Right.
Do we get to use power tools?
What?
I want to use power tools.
You'll come if I let you use power tools?
I'll pay to see that.
How about a chainsaw?
I'm just gonna stand
That's
over here
fair.
and watch. Okay?
I'm gonna pull a scaffold with it. With it.
Well, I mean, the problem is no matter what we do, we're still gonna need the 3 people, because 2 people pull it to the side and 1 person pops it down,
Yeah.
you know? I don't think it's as easy, I mean, you know,
Well, you got that spreader, like you say, the spreader tool, you get
that's
it.
why
spread.
you have the spreader, because
Yeah.
1 person's on one side of the spreader, 1 person's on the other side. of the
Yep.
is
spreader.
that something we keep permanently, or is that something?
Yeah, the spreader, we're
Oh,
just
okay,
gonna
I
buy
was
a
gonna
new
say,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
We're
it's
gonna
been
buy-
years
we
since
don't
you've
have
done it.
one.
Right.
Last time we did it by hand and.
You get a lot of cuts
Yeah.
pulling
Okay,
plastic.
we ready to move on then?
Yes, please, because I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
spring cleanup?
You put it on the agenda.
Did I? I thought me and you discussed this.
So what Kurt wants you to think about.
No,
Just
this was
kidding. No,
between
we
both
talked
of
about it.
Yes.
Scheduling a couple days where people can help out at both the beach and Sorensen Park and getting the general public to come and help out.
Well, we
at
also
the
talked
parks.
about talking to the Flint Flyers to figure out,
Yeah, they're gonna say they don't really want help. They told me that,
okay,
just because
It's
they
more
think
work.
it's more work
Yeah.
than if they just do it themselves. But, you know, I don't know how many of you guys have driven by the beach, but there is a lot of sticks down, which just makes it nice that I don't have to worry about having it done by April 9th. Because the last time there were that many sticks down, I want to talk to you about how many truckloads it would be.
Yeah.
It's a crazy amount.
yeah.
Plus, there's a foot of water down there too.
Last year, did we do one that coincided with the village's spring cleanup or something
No.
like that? Or did we talk about it?
We didn't do one last year.
We
We haven't
didn't
done
do
one in
one
quite a
last
while.
year?
They used to, in the olden days, when the parks were young, Pauline Canner and Nancy Hunter would show up in their white outfits because that's what you did cleanup with.
Okay, that ain't happening.
I'm not showing up in
I'm
white
not
clothes.
either.
It always amazed me, but they literally would show up in a white shirt and white pants and go home filthy.
So the one thing we were thinking is, we've, do a spring cleanup, we could maybe clean up the flower beds and, try to schedule getting certain things that Tony needs to get done.
Right.
So we are,
Maybe we schedule one in April, hopefully after we know when the fence is gonna get, and we can maybe assign some people towards
Right.
that fence project.
rather than.
Wouldn't one have to be done before the egg hunt, though? The cleanup, no?
No, not at the golf fields.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
They're clean.
There's no trees over them.
Other than dog poop,
Yeah.
I mean goose poop. But
Deer
we'll just tell
poop.
the kids that's the egg.
Yeah, there you go. Especially if it's the deer poop.
The more you pick up, the more, no.
Goose poop's much bigger than deer, so. I'm gonna send Sean out with the spray gun. He looks like he's ready for it. No, so, anyway, so if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna try to schedule a couple spring cleanups. Hopefully, a lot of you can come and help too. I do need all of your help with the egg hunt. So if you're not gonna be there, please let me know in advance, but please count on the 9th.
Well, there used to be a standing rule that for our voluntary things, like the egg hunt, if you can't make it, send a replacement.
I wouldn't set my family on you. No,
That's what I was
No, I
just
would not
thinking.
do that.
Watch out what you're asking
I
for.
didn't deal with Joe's ex one.
Yeah, I paid for that one.
Anyways, that's it. So I'll be scheduling one in April and one maybe in May.
Public comment? No public? No comment. Board comments? No comment? Oh, Joe.
I have a report from Village Parks was last Wednesday. And we've been working on our budget in our cleanup days. And we were let known that the playscape at Lakeside Park is going to be replaced.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
To the tune of, they got, so I call it COVID money. They got $100,000 allocated to the
It's gonna
playscape.
take that.
Wow.
Good.
And they said they're thinking they could probably get it in for 80, but if there's any cost over, that's gonna be, DPW and volunteers put the last one in. But we have a small DPW crew, 5 people,
Yeah.
so they can't do it, so that's installed.
Oh, okay.
So-
You're not
That's
gonna
not
get,
bad.
you're gonna talk at $100,000 if you
Yeah.
wanna put it
I know
installed.
you guys have
and
taken a lot of heat for that
even
place.
the size of it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Have they picked a company yet?
I really don't know, you have to get a hold of Brian Clausen.
I would hope that they might do something different than a traditional one and do one of the funner,
Yeah.
more
Well,
modern ones.
they were talking about, our Parks Board was talking about doing a train, but if they, like an engine and a caboose or whatever else, design, but they want to save that for Crapo. So if they
Oh,
have,
okay.
it'll be a theme thing there because
that's
they're going to
neat.
move the depot.
Right.
Yeah, J.C.
So-
Park and
Yeah.
Royal Oak has something similar
Yeah.
to that with the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're-
we have, more or less, staff is going to take care of this. And they'll run it by Parks in Village, but we were notified at our last meeting.
There's some really fun play
Yeah.
structures that they could put out that.
So
would
they're
be
kind of
really
throwing
cool.
that around right now, but it will be replaced because that plastic, like anything else in the sunshine, and everything they're getting, like any benches or anything else, like gazebos, is all going to be Trex because the maintenance costs too much.
Right.
The paint,
Yep.
you can't get people, you got to chip it and everything else. So we're trying to get maintenance smart. So that's all I have to report.
Anybody else?
A little something.
Go ahead.
First, Tony, you did a great job on that cardboard sled race. Everybody did a really good job. Thank you guys for helping me across the, so that I didn't end up like Tony. And I've been thinking about having a welcome to the park kind of thing go. First, I thought of food trucks, but I was told that I was ruining the restaurants in town if I have a food truck rally. But I would like to maybe have like 4 food trucks, set up the bounce house, have like a picnic day out there. We have the Frisbee golf is gonna, the front thing is a practice. Maybe have Flint Flyers come out and kind of demonstrate, how to use that. get people out to recognize that we now do have a disc course out there. Maybe just have it maybe 2 days. I already talked to a lot of vendors with food trucks, and I thought maybe 4 food trucks, because we really don't have the parking out there. If we did a big food truck one, we would have to really get together with the village parks and maybe do Lakeside and the beach, do it, do something there. But I thought maybe food, for maybe a barbecue, a hot dog, a dessert.
Kind of like a family fun day, huh?
Yeah.
A fun
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
And then we could maybe sell the drinks, we could make money there. We could sell the spots for the food trucks. Maybe pay $10 a carload to come in for the day. That way you might cut down on a lot of people coming in at one time, because we really don't have a lot of parking.
Right.
But,
Because we have, 60 to 80 parking spots?
Well, no, there's far more in there.
Oh, is there?
Probably- There's, when the bulk teams are there, I figure there's probably at least 60, if not 70 cars, and then there's spots further down that people don't park in. Oh, yeah, maybe 80 to 90.
But we're not 100% sure.
Yeah. well,
maybe have like a kickball
You know,
tournament
depends
with
on
the
how people park.
police and firemen. Use the hill for picnic blankets out there for picnicking.
That sounds like a good idea.
Just have like a family day, just to get people back out here in the park and let them see what we've been doing.
Tony, would Oakland County be willing to step up with the climbing wall?
That's what I was just thinking.
I don't think climbing wall is one of their options, but they will have options, so.
Right.
We could always get a couple of sets of those cornhole things,
Where is,
Waldo?
we used to be
Could
on the
do, like,
board that
kickball
is all
and
about
stuff.
A kickball,
Yeah.
Peterson.
some easy
Yeah.
stuff.
and have it like
Are you
maybe
thinking of
in
tying
June.
this in with something going on in the village? Or anything like
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, I thought, I was thinking that with Tommy, but I kind of like with the idea independent of it.
Independent of
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else,
that's,
because then, then we get all the attention.
That's fine.
And it like maybe June before the 4th of July.
Maybe end of school
It'll be a little
before the
bit
beach
warm,
opens.
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Good
there's a
kickoff.
thought too,
And,
yeah.
and I'll
Beach weekend.
get a bunch of information and see if we can do something like that.
So,
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Joe.
One more thing I forgot to mention, the lady that runs farmer's market said she's already got 50 vendors signed up for the farmer's market down at Crapo.
50?
Yeah, we're gonna be filling that park full of vendors, and she wants a little bit more cushion, another 20. And people she's already got signed up, ready to go.
She's saying 70?
Well, she's at 50 now, but she was looking, she
How are you gonna
wanted,
put them all in there?
Right.
well, they'll pack them all inside everywhere, so.
Would
And
they
parking
wanna-
lot's
would
gonna
they
start
wanna
disappearing.
There won't be a parking lot.
Parking for
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
like-
right.
Right.
Well, see, with the gas prices, I'll just walk there.
Yeah. Would they want to look at maybe expanding into Sorensen? Would that be a possibility?
I don't know, we could always talk about joint ventures like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. That would be something to think about too, yeah.
Where Crapo's at, it's almost outgrown itself.
Right.
Where they should be setting it up at Lakeside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Because
really.
you got ample
that's set
parking
up.
all up, down through there. Then you can also open up the gates and park inside there for the vendors. And you got pavilions,
Right.
and you got bathrooms and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
We're working on stuff, trying to get things straightened out.
Okay. I see you got director's comments, computer
Oh,
agreement.
yeah, so just to give
Oh, I'm
you a
sorry, go
report-
ahead. I'm sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Tony, these new packets that you're putting out, they're awesome, and you're doing a great job with that. I just want to say to my fellow commissioners, I am so happy that everyone is getting along and everything has been so positive here the last couple meetings. Kurt, you're doing a fine job, and I'm lying. But no, you're doing a great job, and I just want to thank everyone for you know, I see us moving in a very positive direction, and I'm just happy to see everyone working together. And yeah, so I've done enough kissing butt, and I'll let you move on. So,
Director's comments?
Okay, I did purchase a computer, which is, took me a little while to get everything transferred and working, but it's now up and working in my office, and I took it to my conference. It was really nice. I bought it at Sam's Club. What else did I say I was going to talk about?
Agreement.
What?
Agreement.
Oh, yeah, so I'm waiting to meet up with Flint Town Flyers to have them sign their agreement with us, but it's all ready for them to go. I want to thank Joe for once again torturing me, making me go out on the ice. We have now put in, well, they're 4 feet sticking up out of the ground, 4 feet into the ground, metal posts to put our swimming lines around. So thank goodness I didn't have to do what he wanted, which was make me climb up on a ladder on the ice. But it was easier than I pictured it. So thanks, Joe, for helping with that project.
And Bob Davies.
And Bob Davies, who showed up and did the second one, and I put reflective stuff around them so that people out on the ice should be able to hopefully see them and not run into them. They're inside of where the other ones were, so the other ones are still there as well, but they were falling apart. And the only thing I would say is, Sean and Patrick, when I sent you guys the email, it was to try to get you to provide me with the stuff like you handed out tonight so that people could have it in advance.
I didn't know I was going to do this until today, honestly. I got to thinking about it while I was laying in bed last night. It's like, oh, maybe I should write something up.
Yeah, so, I'm just saying, you know, if we can try to do that in the future, it just makes, because everybody was like, what does this mean? And I'm like,
Right.
you know, so.
Well, that way it gives everybody an insight so they can do their own homework.
Yeah.
So if you say, we're going to do, you're looking at this, we can say, well, I got contacts here, and we can add to it, and we can check around. It makes things go smooth.
And to be fair, I wanted to see what kind of result I would get by putting that online to see what kind of response would happen. So.
No, it's cool. I'm just suggesting it for the future, and you know, I'm glad also to see this board working together. I think, Pat, that's the first budget we've actually approved.
You took notice of that. Yes, it is.
All right. You didn't threaten you? No, I'm just
I did.
Don't stir it up.
I did,
Don't stir it up, you know?
No, you guys, I really appreciate us all working together. It makes my job easier, and everybody, you know, can see out in public that this is what our park meetings used to be like. They used to be fun. We used to laugh. We used to, you know, all be excited to be here, and I'm glad that I think that's where we're heading again.
Good.
Everything's
Okay,
built, we're
okay.
always built on positives.
Right,
It's
that's where
easier.
we need to be.
Well, Tony, then in that spirit, I'll do the Easter Bunny again.
Okay.
All right, whose envelopes don't I have?
I
should
got
put
an
names
envelope
on so
right
that
here.
way you
I got it
know.
right here.
They do. I have Donna,
Okay, then you would know.
Sean,
You might not have mine.
Kurt, Joe. All right, you gonna adjourn the meeting?
Yeah, adjournment, 8:52.
Gavel.
Sold.
That's the most fun of all.
Hey, I need to ask you for a favor.